Imagine a world without poverty. Transformative solutions for developing countries. Now, I know what you're thinking. A world without poverty? That's about as likely as finding a reasonably priced apartment in Manhattan. We're talking about tackling issues that frankly should have been solved decades ago. We're talking about basic human rights, the kind of stuff that shouldn't be a luxury, but sadly, for millions around the world, it is. Let's dive into some genuinely impactful solutions, the kind of stuff that could actually shift the needle on poverty and transform millions of lives. Let's start with a no-brainer, shall we? Education. It's like the old saying goes, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and he'll, well, probably still struggle because the fishing industry is incredibly complex and often unfair. The point is, education is key. It empowers individuals, equips them with skills and knowledge, and opens up a world of opportunities. Imagine a world where every child, regardless of their background, has access to quality schooling. Not just rote memorization and standardized tests, mind you, but actual engaging learning that fosters critical thinking and problem-solving skills.
And let's not forget about the teachers. They're the unsung heroes of this whole education thing. We need to invest in proper training, decent pay, and enough support to make them feel like the rock stars they are. Educating girls has a ripple effect on entire communities, boosting economies and improving health outcomes.
All right, let's talk healthcare. Now, I'm not talking about some fancy-pants universal healthcare system like those sensible folks in Europe have, although that would be lovely, wouldn't it? I'm talking about basic medical care, the kind of stuff that shouldn't bankrupt a family. In many low-income countries, even a simple doctor's visit can be a financial catastrophe. People are forced to choose between putting food on the table and getting the medical attention they desperately need.
So, what can we do? Well, for starters, we can invest in healthcare infrastructure. And I'm not just talking about shiny new hospitals in big cities. We need to reach those rural communities, the ones that are often overlooked and underserved. Think mobile clinics, community health workers, and telemedicine. We need to get creative and bring healthcare directly to the people who need it most. Investing in healthcare is not just the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do.
All right, let's talk about something that most of us take for granted, clean water and sanitation. Seriously, when was the last time you had to walk miles to fetch water from a polluted stream? Or, worry about contracting cholera from your drinking water? Imagine spending hours each day, every day, just trying to get clean water for your family. It means less time for work, for school, for literally anything else. Now, the solutions here aren't exactly rocket science. We're talking about investing in basic infrastructure, wells, toilets, sanitation systems, reduced disease, improved hygiene, and a healthier population overall. Plus, when people aren't spending their days searching for water or battling diarrhea, they're free to pursue education, work, and contribute to their communities. It's a basic human right, and it's time we start acting like it. Let's be honest, folks, starting a business is tough. It takes guts, determination, and a healthy dose of caffeine. But you know what else it takes? Money. And unfortunately, access to capital is something that many people in low-income countries simply don't have. Traditional banks? They're not exactly lining up to give loans to farmers in rural villages, but that's where microfinance comes in. It's like the Robin Hood of finance, taking small amounts of capital and distributing it to those who need it most.
We're talking about small loans, often just a few $100s, that can make a world of difference. Imagine being a single mother with a knack for sewing. You dream of starting your own business, but you lack the funds to buy a sewing machine and some fabric. Microfinance can provide that initial investment, allowing you to turn your passion into a livelihood.
And the best part? Microfinance loans have incredibly high repayment rates. Microfinance empowers individuals, strengthens communities, and helps to break the cycle of poverty. It's an investment that pays dividends for everyone. Okay, let's talk tech, baby. Because in the 21st century, technology isn't just about fancy gadgets and addictive social media platforms. It's a powerful tool for social good.
Now, I know what you're thinking. John, you're a cynical British man who once dedicated an entire segment to the horrors of data mining. What are you doing praising technology? And you'd be right to be skeptical. Technology can be a double-edged sword, but hear me out.
Imagine a world where farmers in remote villages can access real-time weather information on their mobile phones, helping them to optimize their crops and increase their yields. Or picture a young girl in a rural community who can now access a world of educational resources online thanks to a community Wi-Fi hotspot. Technology can bridge the digital divide, connect people to opportunities, and empower entire communities.
We're talking about mobile banking, telemedicine, online education, and so much more. But here's the catch: we need to ensure that access to technology is equitable. Technology has the potential to be a game changer in the fight against poverty.
All right, let's talk about where our food comes from, shall we? Because for many people in low-income countries, agriculture isn't just a job, it's a way of life. But here's the thing. Climate change, soil degradation and unfair trade practices are making it harder and harder for farmers to thrive.
So, what's the solution? Well, for starters, we need to ditch the industrial agriculture model that's all about maximizing yields at the expense of the environment and the people who grow our food. Instead, let's embrace sustainable agriculture practices. Think crop rotation, natural pest control, and water conservation techniques. These methods might not produce the same massive yields as industrial farming, but they're better for the environment, better for communities, and frankly, better for the long-term health of our planet.
And let's not forget about fair trade. Paying farmers a fair price for their products isn't just the ethical thing to do, it's essential for lifting them out of poverty. When farmers earn a decent living, they can invest in their farms, their families, and their communities. It's a win-win for everyone. All right, let's talk about something that should be a no-brainer, but sadly still requires a whole lot of explaining: gender equality. Here's the thing. Poverty has a gender. Women and girls are disproportionately affected by poverty, and that's not a coincidence. It's the result of centuries of systemic discrimination and deeply ingrained social norms that limit women's opportunities and agency. We're talking about unequal access to education, healthcare, and financial services. We're talking about violence against women, child marriage, and a lack of representation in decision-making positions. Empowering women and girls isn't just about social justice, it's about economic growth and development. When women have equal opportunities, everyone benefits. We're talking about stronger families, healthier communities, and more resilient societies. So, yeah, let's smash those glass ceilings, challenge those harmful gender norms, and create a world where everyone, regardless of gender, has the opportunity to reach their full potential. All right, folks, let's talk about the elephant in the room: governance. Because even the best-intentioned poverty reduction programs are doomed to fail without good governance. And when I say good governance, I'm talking about accountability, transparency, and a government that actually serves the people. Now, I know what you're thinking, John. You want to talk about boring things like institutional reform and the rule of law. Where's the witty banter, the pop culture references? And you're right, it's not exactly the sexiest topic, but it's crucial. Corruption, inefficiency, and a lack of accountability can derail even the most well-meaning initiatives. Aid money disappears into thin air. Projects are left unfinished. And the people who need help the most are left behind. It's time to demand better from our leaders and hold them accountable for creating a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. So, there you have it. 8 solutions to tackle poverty. 8 steps towards a more just and equitable world. I know it's easy to feel overwhelmed, to think that these problems are too big, too complex, too deeply entrenched to ever truly solve. But here's the thing. Cynicism doesn't solve anything. Change requires action. A world without poverty isn't just a dream, it's a possibility.